Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday Dharma service. It has been 2 weeks since the last time we held our gathering here, so it is so nice to have you back. And it is so nice to see new faces today and old faces as well. Who is the first time to join our service today? Grace. Oh, yeah, I know. Yes, okay. Welcome. You found the right place to come on Sunday. And, can you feel something different this morning? I'm really asking you. Feel free to look around and to see what is called acoustic panels installed the both sides of the wall. How do you like this? They are handsome, right? And not just that, they are working properly. And ever since that, overall our sound system in our Dharma hall has been tremendously improved, which means you can hear me better, a lot better. So, if you agree, you can, give a round of applause. So we can be thankful for all those who have supported and will be supporting this sound enhancement project. Yes, Phil?
I just wondered where the Diamond Sutra lives now.
It is in a very safe place. Trust me. One more thing before we begin. Do you see any other different here today, this morning? Well, we have a bunch of white top, black pants people filling up in the first and second row here, right? They are our guests all the way from Korea. And there are 11 1 Buddhist ministers and 3 guiding teachers. So we are so happy to have them this morning, and we will get to listen to their song and stories during this service. Okay, now let us begin our gathering with some breathing exercise and 4 standing bows. So would you please stand? Open your arms to your side, all the way up and down. And you're supposed to breathe. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Let's use our nose when we breathe in and out. Breathe in, up, and breathe out. 2 more times, breathe in and breathe out. One last time, breathe in and breathe out. Arms go to the opposite direction, up, palms down, breathe out. Again, breathe in and breathe out. 2 more times, breathe in and breathe out. One more time, breathe in and breathing out. Now, palms meet together in front of your heart center. Your shoulders are relaxed. And let me introduce our Buddha enshrined in our Dharma hall. This circle image is our Buddha. I'm talking to Grace and Ab, because you are the first time to visit our center. And this represents our true self, true nature within us. And also it represents the truth of the universe. There is no beginning and there is no ending. And there is the principle of cause and effect. So you are going to join me in offering 4 bows. That's how we greet our Buddha. So with our minds and hearts together,
I bow in gratitude to the grace of heaven and earth, honoring the infinite beneficence of nature and the universe. Standing bow, please. I bow in gratitude to the grace of parents, honoring the beneficence from parents, ancestors, and all those who have had a nurturing role in my life. I bow in gratitude to the grace of fellow beings, recognizing the truth of interconnectedness. I bow in gratitude to the grace of laws, which guides us, protects us, and promotes justice.
Now, please be seated. This morning, we are going to practice sitting meditation for 20 minutes, followed by sutra chanting meditation. Today, Kathy, our dear practitioner, will give us a talk. Now, if you need, feel free to wiggle your body side to side, back and forth. Just take your time to find the right posture for your practice. And Pete will give us some more guidance about how to enjoy our meditation better.
The method of sitting meditation is simple and easy. Sit comfortably on the floor or in a chair. Breathe in, grab all your tension, and breathe it out. Open your chest and heart. Stretch up tall and align your spine from your neck to your tailbone. Relax your shoulders and arms, then allow your hands to rest on your knees. Bring your attention to your breath. As you exhale, release all mental and physical tension. Invite your attention to abide in your chi energy field, which is called Danjian. This is located about 2 inches below your navel and is the power center for your breathing. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not be discouraged or disturbed by them. Simply focus on your breathing without reacting to or playing with those thoughts. Recognize them as thoughts. They will disappear by themselves. And remember, keep bringing your awareness back to your Danjian breathing center. If you continue practicing meditation for a long period of time, you will rest in the realm of samadhi, deep meditation, in which the mind is calm, concentrated, perfectly focused, and at peace, with no distinction between self and others, time and place. We are grateful to sit quietly together, finding the still point within. May we be here now, aware of our ever calm and alert spirit.
it comes to meditation, there are many forms. Now you're welcome to join us in Sutra Chanting Meditation, page 4 and 5. Page 4, 일원상 vow.
Ilwansang vow. Ilwan is the realm of samadhi beyond words and speech, the gateway of birth and death, transcending being and non-being, the origin of heaven and earth, parents, fellow beings and laws, the true nature of all Buddhas, enlightened masters, unenlightened people, and sentient beings. Ilwan manifests as both permanence and impermanence. Viewed as permanence, Ilwan unfolds into an infinite world that is ever abiding, spontaneous, just as it is viewed as impermanence. Ilwan unfolds into infinite worlds through the cycle of formation, duration, decay, and extinction of the universe, and the birth, aging, illness, and death of all beings, according to how we use our minds and bodies. In the four forms of birth, we transform through the 6 realms of existence, progressing or regressing, with grace arising from harm or harm from grace. Therefore, we unawakened beings vow to practice wholeheartedly, modeling ourselves after Ilwansang Dharma Kaya Buddha, by cultivating our minds and bodies, deeply knowing human affairs, universal principles thoroughly, using our minds and bodies skillfully, thus progressing rather than regressing. Grace rather than harm, until we attain great empowerment of Ilwan and become one with the nature of Ilwan. Bodhisattva of great compassion, when deeply practicing Prajnaparamita, realize that all 5 aggregates are empty and thus became free from all suffering. O Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The same is true. Sensations, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no I. Putra, all dharmas are empty. They do not appear, disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Emptiness, no form, no sensations, no perceptions, no impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no
no mobile ear, no strong body, mind consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction, ignorance, no old days and death, no extinction of them, suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, past no wisdom, no attainment, with nothing to attain, the Bodhisattva will Prajnaparamita, therefore the mind has no hindrance, without any hindrance, no fears exist, free from delusion, one dwells in. O Buddhas of the past, present, and future rely on Prajnaparamita and attain supreme light. Therefore know that Prajnaparamita is the great mantra, is the great enlightening mantra, is unsurpassed and unequaled mantra, which is able to eliminate all suffering. This is true enough, also proclaim the Prajnaparamita mantra, which says gone, gone, gone beyond, far beyond, now awaken, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Now we are going to listen to a Dharma talk from Kathy Won-Ji-yeon. The title of her talk is Curiouser and Curiouser, Question and Our Practice. Please join your palms together. Let us welcome Kathy.
Good morning. You're so beautiful. See all the students, I think Atam Tawayo. Is that right? So beautiful? No. Did I say that right? Yeah? Tawayo. Yeah. Atam Tawayo. I practiced but didn't do too well. So I want to begin by telling you about my garden. I have family that live in the garden. It's funny. So I have a family of bunnies that live in my garden. So the mama comes every year and she goes into the garden and she, right next to the garden bed, it's a few inches high, she burrows and she has her babies inside of the garden. And in that garden, in those garden beds, I plant lettuce and chard and herbs and things that really the bunnies really love, right? So for a couple years ago, the bunnies would wreak havoc on this garden. And a few years back, I thought, okay, I've got to stop this bunny invasion, right? I've got to, so we built a fence and we sprayed some natural bunny, animal repellent everywhere. And that didn't really fix the problem completely, right? They didn't care. So until one day when I was in the kitchen and I was cutting strawberries and I was making my famous pistachio strawberry cake. And I cut off the strawberry tops and I thought, I wonder if the bunnies would like these. So I gathered up all the strawberry tops And I went outside, and I thought, well, maybe the bunnies would like their own little spot of garden. So that's what I did. I put the scraps, did the little tops of the strawberries, and made the bunnies their own garden. And what happened is that that day, the bunnies and I made an agreement. So I know that sounds funny to many people, but it's true. I have a couple witnesses in the back of the room. So what happens is the last 2 years, the bunnies, even though they are born in the garden and they live in the garden, they do not eat a single leaf that I plant. So, because there's no more resistance in our relationship. We feed them scraps, and then they have no need to eat what I plant. It's just that simple. And this is not like it's not so magical. It's not like a typically magical circumstance. This is simply respect. And all right, maybe you think I'm a little naive or a little crazy. Maybe you're right. But maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that we've forgotten, that I've forgot what real magic is, what the truth of nature is. And this week I suddenly, when I was thinking about this, about the bunnies, I suddenly became aware of my relationship, how I feel about nature. And that is part of my practice, right? I learned that from my practice, but it originates from my mother. My mother, and I didn't really appreciate this as much as I do now, like this week. My mother, anything around her was her family. It didn't matter if it was a bug or an animal or a person. It didn't matter what color someone was. It didn't matter what sexual orientation they were. It didn't matter what their opinions were. She had no discrimination. None. And we had an array of various strays and people and animals that were, I have stories I could tell you. Goodness, we even had a rooster that would rest on my mother's shoulder and nap, a rooster, which wouldn't be so strange, right, if I grew up here, but I didn't. I grew up in New Jersey on the beach. So roosters in New Jersey, our neighbors were not happy. And so I also suddenly realized it's no wonder that I am how I am, right? It's no wonder that although I love Dharma and spiritual books, many of them, if I'm really honest, where I find the most truth, aside from our scripture, is in children's stories and fairy tales, Yet I think many of us forget their Dharma. As we grow up, fairy tales become conceptualized, and characters become labeled and boxed. The hero, right? The villain. And it's okay that we do this, but we don't question why we do this. It becomes unimportant. But in fact, in our daily lives, we box in every sound we hear, every experience, every interaction using our 6 sense organs. We label them into good, bad, or non-essential, right? Also underlying that, is it dangerous or not dangerous? Every sound we hear, or see, or feel. So this self-protective nature is not bad. It's not good. It's human. It's only when we don't notice it, don't question why we accept these labels, that we naturally create a fixed identity. And we stand in opposition to all else. is me, and that's everything else, right? When we are unaware of our true selves, and this begins to drive our lives, we are driven then by our desire, our anger. It drives the car for us. In other words, we are asleep at the wheel, our true nature, because we have somehow forgotten the magic of our true selves, of fully human. And life becomes a watered-down version of good versus evil, obtain versus reject, like, dislike. And this is continuous. We live this way continuously till we die. What I'm saying is, when we look, if we can look deeply at these children's stories, we see they reflect the truth of human nature. But it's our mind, so we create the fairy tale. For example, I had an aunt who would not let us watch Cinderella. She was so mad. She was very upset that Cinderella needed to be saved by a prince and she could not save herself. And I understand that thought. But to me, Cinderella has always been the hero of the story. Because Cinderella treated everyone with kindness, with equanimity. No discrimination. She had no judgment. She had no expectation. She loved all beings unconditionally and accepted things as they are. And no resentment, no ill will. And children know innately that she's the hero of the story. It's only when we grow up that we forget this. Because, I have a question. Why do you think her slippers are made of glass? You ever wondered that? It's a good question, right? Ever think her slippers? Because each step she took was one of clarity, compassion, and courage. She set the example of how we save ourselves. And I do not know a view of a better hero than that. The scientist Carl Sagan, the famous scientist, said that his experience is that you go talk to kindergarten kids or first grade kids, you'll find a class full of scientist enthusiasts, and they ask deep questions. What is a dream? Why do we have toes? Why is the moon round? What is the birthday of the world? Why is the grass green? And these are profound, important questions, and they just bubble up right out of them. But you go talk to 12th grade students, and they ask none of that. They have become leaden and incurious. And something terrible has happened between the ages of kindergarten and 12th grade, and it's not just puberty. My 12-year-old asked me the other day, why do we call a pinky? Why is it a color? I thought that was such a good question. I have no idea. But you know what? We don't stop questioning. We think we do, but we don't. We don't stop being curious. We stop paying attention. And then we believe in the boxes that we create. We don't allow our minds to slow down long enough to see the questioning unfold, to see the empty, wondrous nature that is who we really are, full of endless questions and potentiality. Reverend Kim from the Philadelphia Temple, I just heard her say, when we ask questions and they are seen and reflected, Buddha nature is there. But we're too busy, usually, aren't we? Yeah. So there's another type of heroic fairy tale character who didn't understand this busy nature that we possess. And she said the line, curiouser and curiouser. Do you know who I mean? You know who I mean. All you people in the back know her. Of course, most people know the story in America of Alice in Wonderland. Know the story of the little girl who follows a white rabbit who's in such a big rush to get somewhere. She's so curious, she follows him down a rabbit hole, right, and into Wonderland. And this is a very strange land with strange people and strange rules and behaviors. And she has no control over the situation. Nothing makes sense. And she meets conflict after conflict. But what makes her a hero is that she never gives up. She never stops questioning until she wakes up. And Alice teaches us something. She teaches us that it's often when we don't have a sense of control over our lives that we have no choice but to slow down and pay attention. And I relate to this recently because I just had an experience where I had to be rushed to the ER at 3 a.m. I'll share it with you. So I had a kidney stone, and they are very, very painful. And so it took 10 hours for the doctor to get me into the OR. And in that time, I hoped for some relief. Until the people in the blue paper hats came to get me. You know who those people are? They come in the blue paper hats and they hovered by my ER room. And my sense of self jumped up in a panic. I suddenly became a pain wave came over me. I started to get sick. And my sense of self, it was doing its job. Danger. And then my box went, danger. This is dangerous. But these people were there to take me down, to help me down to the OR, but I was afraid. The fear came up. So they quickly wheeled me down to the OR and everyone rushed around me. And what could I do? All I could do was watch my questioning mind. So I'm going to share with you the questions that came up exactly as they came up in my mind. My mind said, who the hell are you people in the blue paper hats? It's true. Strangers? What's a stranger? Did that guy give me medicine? I don't know if I like you. What are you doing to my legs? And why is it so damn cold in here? Then I was going to faint as they slid me onto the operating table and put the mask on. Take deep breaths, Kathy. I can't breathe, I thought. And in that moment, another question arose for me. What about my practice? I thought, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Does it really matter right now if I let go? I have no control. Is it really going to matter if I practice in this moment? But I decided to trust my practice anyway. Trust my teachers anyway. Trust my true nature anyway. And I let go. And I could breathe. So the last thing that I saw and felt was my hand in cold water. And I felt sunshine. And I felt mud. And I felt snow in my mind. This came up as I let go. And I felt what it felt like to hold my children in my arms and grass under my feet and skin, and just went through all of these things until I felt pain. Just human. No differentiation. And I knew that I wanted to feel all of it. And that whether this was my last moment or not, I knew I would not pick and choose what I liked over what I disliked. That there was the experience, but there was also beyond the experience. So, this experience is not the real magic, though. It's just a moment. The real magic is the reminder that even in the slightest moment, we can slow down, pay attention, question. We can practice. Our founding master, Master Soto-san, began his life this way as a child, right? We are here today because of his questioning mind. When the Buddha asked, why do we get sick? Why do we get old? Why do we die? Why do we suffer? And there's a last story I want to share with you. It's a story of a man who lived in a village a long time ago, and there was war at that time. It was war, and he was revered and loved because of his wisdom and compassion, and because his actions changed the lives of every single person, every being actually, animals included, that he encountered. And he carefully eradicated discrimination in his area against women. He tackled practical life concerns of poverty, education, community development, and then also imparted his teaching. He sacrificed his life to give the awakening he discovered to the world. And yet during this time, he was subject to intensive police investigation. And the soldiers investigated him on numerous occasions, but he never showed the slightest hint of hatred or resentment toward his oppressors. Instead, he always treated them with equanimity. He said, they are only doing their job, just as we are doing ours. If what we are doing is right, then in the long run, no one will be able to harm or stop us. There are many examples of him in this way, always greeting everyone with equanimity, always. So can you guess who that man was? Can you guess? That was Master Sotasan, the founding master of Won Buddhism. I quoted a little bit directly from the scripture. This is the result of a life of respect and awe, a life of questioning our world, our aversion, our judgments, and discrimination, and questioning our self-nature. Who are we, really? And look what that life has created. Look at what his practice and action and rest has created. We often forget what a hero looks like. We forget the heroes of our world and why we want to be like them. And they become fairy tales. The hero becomes the one that saves us, but Master Sotasan reminds us that we are the hero of our own story. If we can slow down, pay attention, and question our world, then each step we take will be one of clarity and selflessness, and will lead all sentient beings, including the bunnies, to freedom. This is believing that we are Buddha, and this is a life that is truly lived, what? Happily? Come on, happily ever after. It's the end of the story, the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. So questioning is one of the 4 important elements that promote our practice in Won Buddhism. Do you know the other 3 elements? Belief, zeal, and dedication. And questioning is one of those 4. So thank you for the reminder to have that, curious and questioning mind to deepen our practice. Now it's time to get to know our guests. So who are they and what are they doing in this, country? So let's hear from Reverend Ho Gyomunim, one of the guiding teacher of this group.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Ho Seok. I'm a Won Buddhist minister and working at Wonkwang University as a professor. It is very nice to meet you and Venerable Juksanim in person at this beautiful and peaceful One Dharma Center. Let me introduce you to the 14 One Buddhist ministers and minister candidates who are from Iksan, Korea. Reverend Dongin and Reverend Kwanjin are the Dharma teachers, and 11 students are currently in the 4th grade of the Department of Won Buddhism at Wonkwang University. We came to America to feel, contemplate, and dream about our future as well as the direction of Won Buddhism. During our 18-day stay in the United States, we will visit the Won Buddhist temple in New York, Boston, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and the One Institute of Graduate Studies to learn the history and status of Won Buddhism in USA. Also, by learning to understand American society, we are focusing on the tasks that Won Buddhism can do for for peace. I think you might be curious about Wonkwang University, so I will briefly introduce it. It is located in the Iksan sacred place where the founding master Sotaesan established the Won Buddhist order, lived and taught for 20 years until his death. Wonkwang means to illuminate the great way of Il-Won. It had been the founding master Sotaesan's dream to create a university of Won Buddhism, but he was unable to achieve this in his lifetime due to Japanese restrictions. 3 years after Sotaesan's death, these restrictions had been lifted, and the second head Dharma master, Jeongsan, established this university in 1946 to deliver all people and cure society. Wonkwang University is now 77 years old, so old, and it is Korea's representative university now. It has 14 colleges and 68 departments. Among them, the Department of Won Buddhism is the heart of the university. These 11 students represent the embodiment of the founding master Sotaesan's original wish with their dedication, sincerity, and perseverance. In 2 years, they will have completed their training and will graduate as 교무님, Won Buddhist ministers. Reverend Wonjung will tell you about his own personal spiritual journey. Please welcome him. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Ho Kyomunim, to introduce Wonkwang University. For your reference, there are 2 universities, college, one Buddhist college in Korea. One of them is Iksan, the Wonkwang University. The other one is Yongsan University, which I went to. And probably you don't see our student here, right? You only see their, the back of their head, right? They are very handsome, right? So you're gonna see them in a minute. Now let's welcome Reverend Wonjung.
Hello, my name is Wonjung from Wonkang University. Some people told me that I am pure-hearted, but in fact, I didn't like my personality. This is because I think I'm introverted and sensitive. I'm easily hurt what other people say to me. My mind was complicated with many questions. Why does my mind do this to me? These questions were deeply related to my unhappy childhood. So I tried hard to find a way to figure this out. What I wanted is to lead a happy life. I wished my mind was calm and comfortable. One day, I met Buddhism. Since then, I have been practicing the teachings of Buddhism to solve fundamental questions about life and mind. One day, I asked my teacher, "Why am I always confused and in pain? What should I do?" After a few seconds of silence, my teacher said, "Your mind is like lightning and wind. Mind is originally painless. But she said that you have pain in your mind. This is because there's a self in your mind. Remember, there's no such a thing as self or ego in true nature. You need to know that you are not your emotions and thoughts." After that conversation with my teacher, I've asked myself just a simple question: who am I? When I was happy, I asked, what is the thing that feels happy now? When I was angry, I asked, who was getting angry? Even when walking, eating, or taking a shower, I asked the same questions. Who was doing this? I ask this question all the time. One day, I got aha moment. I felt that I was very comfortable and peaceful, which was unusual. On top of that, I sensed that there is no ego or self. I was so happy. I think people in the world are chasing after ego-centered mind, such as my honor, my wealth, my opinion. The more they crave, the more their hearts get tired and anxious. I think I was no different from them. But now, I'm busy with letting go of my ego self. Because I know that peace of mind starts from there. I'm happy to share my practice with you this morning. Thank you for listening.
Wow, you are such a great speaker. I didn't know that. Oh my gosh. Now Reverend Ho is going to introduce the song they're going to sing.
How do you hear about Reverend Wonjung's spiritual journey? Is it okay? Is it good? Thank you, Reverend Wonjung. And now, all the students will sing for you the song titled 일원 회상 찬가, means chanting for the 일원 world. Welcome.
Thank you. So, 학생들 잠깐만 여기 있을게요. How did you like their song? Did you get the meaning? Well, they sang about meaningful and hopeful future that we are going to make all together. So, for our appreciation from our community, we prepared flower bouquet to individual students and teachers. Teachers, please come up here. So Debbie prepared this flower. Kathy, you can give it to them as well. Oh, they're so bright. I mean, students. All right, very good. We need 2 more flowers. Thank you. Please big applause for our guests. 네, 학생들 자리로 들어갑니다. As our welcoming gesture, we also prepared our song to present them. So Phil, Vicky, Kathy, please come up here. And I am part of that group. You're welcome to sing along with us, the chorus. We all know this song. May I say this? Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. That taught my heart to fear, and grace that fear relief. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. 1,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you so much. No encore? No? We are out of time. So it was Phil, Vicky, Kathy, and Reverend Joy. So they are going to around after this service. So if you'd like to get to know them a little better, you are welcome to stay a little longer. So I have two announcements. Let's see. We are having an upcoming retreat in the third week of July, and it is Tai Chi Moving Meditation Retreat. Reverend Song from the One Institute of Graduate Studies is the main teacher. And for your reference, he is the legendary Tai Chi, Qigong, Taekwondo, all that, master in one Buddhism. And he is also my original Tai Chi teacher. And we still have some room available, so please check out this retreat on our website. And our dear Dharma friend Sandy Moore has been holding an art exhibition in Hudson at a place called Time Space Limited. Time Space Limited. But parking space is not limited. There are plenty of parking spots. And I think at 3 p.m., some sort of good thing will happen in that art gallery. So on this holiday weekend, if you're looking for a place to visit, this is a good place to go. So at 3 p.m. this afternoon, please check that out. Sandy Moore's art exhibition. I think that about it. And so thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you next Sunday. And we are gathering not this hall, but in the Timeless Zen meditation room next Sunday. So thank you all. Have a beautiful holiday afternoon.